think hard about it, you know, you already lost. Okay.
On a trail of greatness, got me feeling weightless. Player haters hate this, cause they can't make this.
Welcome back to another episode of Change Your Pace, aka the Change Your Pace Network. I'm your host, Carlton James, like always, and I'm here with Miss Yanette. She is a makeup artist and also an Instagram model, but she doesn't want to say that to you guys. But anyways, we met at a dance hall, and I told her, hey, why don't you be on my show since you're an entrepreneur like yourself? And she was like, yeah, sure, I'll be on the show. So today we're playing Connect 4 because this episode is about connections. Hey, Yanette, do you want to tell them a little bit about yourself before we get started?
Yes. Well, okay. I'm 22. I am a makeup artist. I work at a hair salon. I didn't want to tell y'all about the modeling thing because I feel like it's more of a hobby. So now that it's out there, y'all should follow me on Instagram, and we can put that in the description at the bottom.
Yeah, we can do that.
Right, okay.
I think we can.
All right. If not,
She knows where I live at now, guys, so I
know where he stays.
So we're going to get the game started, and as we play this game, we're still going to learn a little bit more about her, so that way we can both get a good feel. So you're first.
Okay. Whoops. Okay.
Where were you born?
I was born in San Marcos, Texas. I only say it like that because that's how Siri says it. But it's San Marcos.
San Marcos, yeah. Is that the old way of saying it then? Because I've been saying it wrong the whole time then.
You've been saying San Marcos?
Yeah.
That means you're not a San Martian.
I'm not a San Marcos. I'm an alien now too? What's going on?
I'm from San Marcos. I was born and raised, and I now live out in the country. So it's pretty peaceful. It's nice.
And while you was out there in the country, did you go to high school out there too, or just born out there?
No, I was born in the country, and I did not go to school out in the country. I rode my horse to school. No, I'm kidding.
When you went to high school, did you always think you would be a makeup artist then?
No, I actually wanted to be a fashion designer, and yeah.
Why fashion then?
I always felt like I was a fashionista and I thought I had swag. And then I see these new e-girls coming out and I'm like, oh, maybe we have a different kind of swag. Yeah.
Well, everybody has their own swag. Like, what makes your swag unique then?
I think I'm very into like the 90s. So 90s and 50s, so I think it's a mixture of both. I definitely love like TLC, like how they were dressed in all their music videos, or even Beyonce back in the day. That girl was fire.
So, growing up then, I guess, I don't want to assume here, did you have like the posters on your wall, or did you just happen to just say, okay, I'm gonna like this photo and put it on my Facebook?
No, I never thought of it like that. I have older sisters, so I always had hand-me-downs, and whatever they didn't want anymore, I would just kind of like cut up and piece together and just kind of make it my own style to like suit my personality.
Oh, nice. Do you have any designs that you'd like to share with us one day?
Perhaps one day. I did make a really bad skirt one time, and I got the wrong material for it. It was supposed to be stretchy and flowy, but instead I got kind of like the harder material. And whenever I tried to cut it, and I wore it to a photo shoot and everything, and then I threw it in the dryer once I was done, and that thing just crunched up. So we're not starting my fashion line just yet. It's still under the science part of it.
You heard it first. When the fashion line does come out, look out for it. So, your turn, and I have one thing to move on to before we go to the next section.
Okay.
Did you find value in your work when you were designing your clothes?
I didn't really think much of it at the time. It was kind of more like, I just like to do this. I did eventually grow out of it and get more into makeup, so I guess not really.
See, guys, we talked about finding your niche in one of our videos, and she found her niche by doing makeup. You can also find your niche by doing something that you love to do, and that's why you can see she's so passionate about it. And so with that going, let's go on to the next set of questions is, how did you turn your passion into a business?
Okay, so it always starts with yourself. So I would actually upload pictures of myself doing my own makeup, just kind of different looks. And slowly I kind of started telling people about it. Once I felt like I was confident enough to apply it on other people and I knew how to sanitize all my makeup, then I knew, like, you know what, I can make a business out of this because people are actually asking me to do their makeup for simple events. And it kind of started like that, and then eventually I just kind of like really got into it and started getting into Halloween makeup and like FX and all that like scary stuff. And it kind of became a passion. It was almost a form of like, this was my peace of mind. Every time I put makeup on, regardless of how I was feeling, I would feel better because I knew I looked better. So yeah, I think you can definitely, even if you have to write it out, you can make a whole chart about it and think about it. Okay, how am I have so many palettes, and how am I gonna charge per makeup that I'm doing on people, and how am I gonna benefit from this, and when do I know I'm getting my money back? So you just kind of keep all your receipts, add it up, do the math, and that's how you get started.
Would you say, for the viewers here, would you say start small or start big?
I would say a lot of people don't really have an option, so you would have to start small. And I think as long as you're starting is a huge that's a huge plus. That's a green light right there. You could easily just blow it off and be like, I'll do it later, maybe next time, next year. But I think as long as you're pushing, no matter where you're starting, you'll end up where you need to be.
Great answer. Because I started small, as you guys know. We started on YouTube, and now we're branching out further than ever. We now have Spotify, Apple iTunes, and then also Google Play picked us up as a podcast on their segment. So you can listen to it on all channels, just the audio only, but if you want to see the video of us playing Connect 4, obviously watch it on YouTube. So a little bit more about your business. Did you have to network with anybody to get started, or you just say, I want to do this on my own?
I did always have older sisters that I would see, like they would just always do their makeup, and I guess because they were older, I saw the style that was in during that time, and it kind of just gave me different ideas. They would let me practice on them, but I think it all started because of them, because they were so into it. I kind of like came onto me, and I feel like out of all my sisters, I'm just like, I am the makeup artist in the family.
Nice.
So,
I know family's big, because like when I make a new video or a new interview, the first person I send it to is my brother and my sister, and they will respond back to me like, hey, that's horrible, hey, make it better, because they're my biggest critic. So who would be your biggest critic?
My biggest critic, probably my mom. She's very blunt and she's very honest, and I know she means well by it, so she'll tell me like, you know what, that look doesn't really look that well. I do listen. I take everything she says into consideration, because she is a person, and just how she doesn't like it, maybe somebody else won't like it either. So I'd rather hear it from my mom firsthand than hear it from a stranger and it hurt my feelings.
That's right. That's very true. Like, I'd rather hear that too from my family first before I upload a video. Because if a stranger says in the comments, hey man, that's horrible, I'd be like, you know what, bro? Like, you don't have to watch this. That's the me being me.
Yeah.
But if my family say something like that, like, all right, cool, how can I change
You'll
it?
fix it.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
A little more deeper about your business. Were you ever nervous that you wouldn't pick up any customers?
Oh yeah, it's definitely nerve-wracking knowing that you might not have any customers, and that's totally fine, You gotta keep an open mind and stay positive the whole way through. You can't cry over something, like it's not gonna change anything. You have to be strong-minded. So yeah, especially now during this pandemic, like it's so slow. It's really slowed down a lot because, everyone has to wear a mask, and it's kind of like you get your makeup done and it gets on the mask. So
Have you ever had somebody come in with like a mask on and say, just do the upper portion for me, please?
Not yet, but I'm sure that's gonna be a thing soon. But I will make your eyes pop.
So, what kind of makeup do you normally do? Is it just bridal, or do you do also, I guess you would say, quinceañeras or prom?
Oh yeah, definitely. I just did a quinceañera makeup thing for her, and she really liked it. I think I've always liked drawing, so I'm really good at tracing what I see without actually tracing it.
Wow.
I know.
Do you have any artwork you can show us one day?
I do. I have a lot of artwork I can show y'all. It's just all free-handed and kind of like what I think of. I draw.
So what do you draw in your spare time then?
I'm normally always drawing flowers. I just think the detail in a flower is much more than just 4 petals. So definitely flowers or anything crazy that comes to my mind. You know, sometimes I'm just being weird.
There's nothing wrong with being weird, guys. Weird is the new norm, by the way.
Yeah, I'd rather be weird than boring, right?
There you go. The same way I say it. But I say it kind of different, whatever floats your wagon. But, so with that being said, guys, with the last segment, connections. That's what we're here to talk about. What kind of connections do you make in your industry?
So, luckily for me, because I do modeling on the side, I come across other models, and I've worked with a lot of like Maxim models, Sports Illustrated models, just kind of like even Vanquish models. I've worked a lot with those people, and so that is probably my biggest connection, is that because I do this on the side, I meet photographers who like to partner up with makeup artists and kind of create a team to, I guess, accommodate the model.
Nice. See, me and you, we're both introverted. How do you get out of your comfort zone to do something like that?
I have to be so pushy with myself. Like sometimes I just can't, and I have to. Nobody will know if I don't. So I try to push myself, and I always try to think like, just like I'm nervous, this person is probably nervous too, and we're all just humans. So, you know, sometimes being quiet comes off as being stuck up. So I always try to make sure people know that I'm nice and I'm easygoing. So that way, if I am quiet, they know that they can approach me at any time, and you know, kind of like, it's a good thing to put out there for introverts, because sometimes introverts just completely shut off, and then you're kind of like confused on how to approach this person because they don't give you the slightest bit of opening. So definitely always put out a positive vibe out there, like be, I wouldn't say energetic, but maybe more like, maybe just a little bit more talkative, just to kind of break the ice and know, like let people know, hey, I'm approachable, like I'm sorry if I'm quiet, I'm just an introvert, but you can ask me anything.
So would you say, I guess you'd say your connections, does it shapes your brand? Because the connections I make with people, the people I bring on the show, people think, okay, he just wants to interview these people, why not interview me? I interview all types of people, it's
Right.
just the ones that show up the most are the ones that you're gonna see on camera.
Definitely.
So would you say your connections is what shapes your brand? So like if you meet constant bridal shower people, will you say, people say, oh, she just does bridal? Or if you meet a bunch of teenagers or something, you know what I'm saying?
I definitely, I'm great with people. So even though I'm slightly introverted, I definitely like read a lot of psychology and catch up on how, even with younger people like teenagers, I think of myself like, how would I feel with the, you know, I guess to some teenagers I'm a lady, so how would I feel with the lady approaching me? How, you know, and you gotta put it into different perspective before you actually approach people. Even if you're at a bridal shower, like, you wanna make everybody in the room feel comfortable, because first off, you're like this close to someone when you're doing their makeup, right? You gotta get in there and beautify them.
Can you beautify me?
I can beautify anyone.
So,
Which everyone is already beautiful, but I can definitely enhance the beauty.
she's calling me ugly.
No.
So do you take all colors? I know you say you beautify everyone. Like, do you actually beautify gay couples as well?
Of course, yes. So, I used to work at this hair salon, and I would actually do eyebrows, and surprisingly, a lot of the clients that would go in were men. So I don't have any problem with it. As a matter of fact, I feel like that's great. You know, if you feel like this is you, then like be yourself. If you want to get your makeup done, get your makeup done. Even if you're not gay and you want to get your makeup done, you will get a man glam. Like, yeah.
So explain to them what's a man glam. 'Cause
So
I'm kind of curious.
a
myself.
man glam is just kind of clearing up the skin. You know, I feel like clear skin is always a good thing. People always identify that as beauty. So you can definitely always just enhance a man's beauty by clearing his skin, kind of contouring, even edging up his beard or whatever. Like you can, that contrast, I promise, it'll work.
So, lastly, what is the end game for you?
The end game, as
Yep.
far as where I think this is going.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think this is actually going to end up being a really great thing, because even if COVID ever hits permanently, or you know, I'm sure it won't, but if that's ever the case, I think that I can always rely on networks, online networks, to kind of keep pushing my business. And I think that with practice, you eventually become talented at what you do, and you can just kind of even interact with the audience while you do your makeup, and not only share your creativity with these people, but kind of keep them, you know, intact, and they want to know what you're up to and what you're doing. So I think that that's the good thing about 2020 is that we have Wi-Fi.
That's good. So, the biggest lesson that I learned today is be yourself, because you never know who's watching, and there's always somebody out there that's going to need your services. And if you're being yourself, someone's going to mention you because you're network based. And do you have a big lesson to teach them as well?
Yes. As far as like makeup, I guess it's not so much a lesson, but it is, I guess, advice. Just kind of like, you know, make flyers, do business cards, put yourself out there, like go around your town, your city, and leave your flyers, and I promise people will contact you. So, and that's a good way to be successful, I'd say.